Hello everyone, I am Tacet and it is finally time. Fairsraw has been added to the Soulforge. The devs have added this as a little bit of a Christmas present to everyone, and it is definitely a very huge Christmas present. For any of you that don't know, Pharos-Ra is the best soul farming troop in the entire game and is also considered the best possible thing that you can craft within the Soulforge. I already have myself 3, but I am going to go for the 4th one right here. So what exactly does a Pharos-Ra do? It is 24 mana cost, brown, purple, blue. It transforms all yellows to purple, which isn't anything too particular. It deals damage to an enemy, and then it's boosted on souls. This on face value is not particularly good in itself, but when combined with its final trait, it becomes absolutely insane. And this is the whole thing that gives it value. One unfortunate thing about a Pharos-Ra is it is basically mandatory to fully trade it. It requires 21 blue-purple trait stones, which you can get from either Kedar or Glacial Peaks, as well as 21 brown-purple, which you can get from Darkstone. So brown-purple and blue-purple you would need for this, among a few other things like 4 Celestials and all the other smaller scraps. But you do want to get them fully traded because it is 150% soul bonus. And yes, this does stack with multiple. So if you had 2 or 3 Pharos-Ras, 2 of them would be 300%, and 3 of them would be 450%. So very, very, very powerful. And that combined with the fact that he has a 1-to-1 boost ratio on how many souls, you are going to be doing a lot of damage. So much so that Pharos-Ra not only is the best possible soul gainer in the entire game, he also at this current moment in time has the highest max hit of any troop, being able to max out at approximately the mid 200s realistically in most teams. So yes, if you haven't already crafted yourself one, go and do that. It will be available for about the next week. I think it's going a little bit longer than Monday, but definitely make sure just in case to craft it before Christmas. So I believe they said they're going to be doing it for a week, so probably until next Wednesday or so. But yes, definitely get yourself a Pharos-Ra. If you can afford one, you would be crazy not to go and get yourself one. It is a really potent troop. So what are we going to be doing right now? We are going to be going over basically just some teams that you can use with him, as well as how to soul farm with him. So let's go first off right into the teams. Going to be showing 2 of them. Actually, we're already on one of them, so I guess we will start with this one. This is the slightly more expensive one, and I'll show the slightly cheaper one after. I'm not going to show a super cheap one because I would not really advise using a super cheap Pharos-Ra in PvP. One slightly unfortunate thing about Pharos-Ra is he's not necessarily the best thing to be using in PvP, and if you don't have some of the more optimal things to be using it with, you're most likely just going to want to keep him exclusively for farming souls within challenges, because that's where he shines the best. But as you can see right here, we are using a Pharos-Ra plus World Breaker combo. This combo is particularly good because it covers every single color just with the 2 of them. And you can basically just keep that going and doing everything that you would really need. So we'll just throw this down, get our Pharos-Ra down. He does have that 1-to-1 soul boost ratio, so we do get quite a bit of damage. We want to use our Dragon Soul to be able to boost ratio up with that. Every single time we use a Dragon Soul, we are gaining quite a bit more souls. Normally, whenever you throw Pharos-Ra, you do want to try to extra turn with it, but it's not necessarily mandatory. We can go for those little pokes whenever we really want to, and then just take him out with that. And yes, that is pretty much the battle, and we get ourselves some pretty decent passive souls just from that. The battle wasn't really impaired at all, wins at about the exact same win rate as what you would do with anything else, and we got ourselves 275 souls for free with only 1 of him. And now into another one. Ooh, a little bit more annoying with the Sion Ragnagord there, but we're going to be running with a pretty simple just Gorgolfa Dragon Soul Christinex and the Pharos-Ra in the back line. Just have the triple mana generation threat combined with the fact that we can also just get ourselves a nice Pharos-Ra poke to clear out any immediate threat that we might have on the opposing team. This could go a little bad though due to the Sion, as if we're unable to get the colors that we need, we won't really have a way to get going here, so we'll just throw that down. It does look like we are going to be forced into a skull, but we can take some red, so at least that gives us a little bit for our Dragon Soul, though that's not really going to do as much good given that our Dragon Soul hasn't really been able to accumulate all of his mana yet. So he does not give us any kind of extra turn that we can go in full mana off of, which would be perfect right about now. I kind of want to go take my mana there, but I think we're going to leave it there because he's going to Sion us most likely next turn. So that will allow us to take that the following turn, which will allow us to get to a full Gorgolfa, or at least ideally it'll do so. Unfortunately, the Brown does not surge, but he gives us a free turn right there. And another poke. If we could just get one more poke, the battle should be cleared, in that we don't need him anymore. Oh, he would get that one drain off right at the end there before we actually get that poke in, but oh well. Let's get rid of something that we don't really need. You definitely want to make sure you keep all of the yellow and purple on the board. You're going to be needing that for when Fairsraw does get around to full mana. So just keep clearing the board, keep using the combo until we can finally get him up, and then clear out something as it becomes necessary, like that that Infernus right now would be a pretty nice target if we were actually able to, but we'll just go for the Christine X there, get that rolling down. We're already up to basically max hit at this point, so we're going to go get it to full mana. Hopefully get alignment. Come on! Get full mana already. Well, we'll throw another Dragon Soul. That'll bring us up to max, so at this point we don't even really need the higher damage that a Fairsraw would be able to yield for us. We'll just remove that out, get a little bit of Cascade, and poke him with anything. Here, Fairsraw, you finally get to do something. And down it goes, and once again, we get ourselves the full amount of souls bonus. Normally, in PvP context, you never really use more than one Fairsraw. Stuff like that with like a single Dragon Soul or a single Valkyrie, just to feed it that little bit of souls that it gets. Is basically all you really need to run with it. Going multiple would slow you down too much in the context of PvP, but what you can run multiple in is challenges. So, challenges. The absolute weakest one as of this current moment in time is the first challenge in Divining Fields. You may have seen this from me in the past many times before. That's simply because this is the absolute weakest challenge currently in the game. And there are 3 different teams that you can run. Approximately, they run around 30, 40, or 50,000, depending on your bonuses and a few other things. This can run quite a bit slower than that. Also, this is assuming that these rates per hour are also assuming that you are diligently paying attention to the game the entire time. And if you're not paying full attention to the game, they could be even as half these amounts. But still, Fairsraw of any amount is the best possible soul farming that you can do in the entire game. Even just one is faster than anything else. Prior to having a Fairsraw, the quickest you can really do is triple Warlock Valkyrie, which caps out at about 20,000 per hour, and the only thing that can get even better than that would be, without any Fairsraws, would be running Arena as of this current moment in time with a Dawnbringer. Due to how overpowered Dawnbringer is currently within the Arena minigame, you can yield as much as about 25,000, almost up to 30,000. I think it's about 28,000 per hour you can get capped. Normally it's more towards like a 25,000 average, but if you can run Dawnbringer in Arena, if you happen to have that weapon, that's the best possible soul farming you can do without a Fairsraw. But if you have him, like you can now craft, first challenge of Indian Fields or any other similar weak challenge, this is just the weakest. You set it on the highest possible difficulty that you can possibly do with the current team that you're running. With this particular team, we're running a double Warlock Valkyrie Fairsraw. It functions exactly the same as a triple Warlock Valkyrie does, except it gains almost 10,000 more souls per hour. I will be running it on Warlord 2 because this allows, I could still one-shot them all on Warlord 2 with the amount of stats I have, though you would most likely just be running it on normal or hard. Just double check what the highest difficulty you can run is, and you'd end up getting a little bit more extra souls. I forgot to go click the button there, but I believe we're getting 75% extra souls right now, if I'm not mistaken. It's either 25 or 75%, one of the two. But essentially what you do is rush up Valkyrie as quickly as you possibly can. Every single turn you do is focused on getting yourself to a full Valkyrie. Unfortunately, we're a little bit off right there. Can get trolled pretty heavily sometimes, but now all we do is just throw Fairsraws. If you are in a battle where you might not necessarily be able to get the one-shots, make sure to throw them in the back line first. These two in the back always have the higher durability than the other two, so because these things have a boost ratio of a 2-to-1 based on all purples removed, and the fact that you're going to be removing these purples, you normally want to hit these bigger targets first when you have a lot of purples on the board so that you get the higher boost ratio to be able to kill them off with. So right here we're just going to take the Brown over, go throw another little poke, probably on him just so he doesn't do his ability. See if we can get a Valkyrie here, and it is just sitting there ready for us to take. We take that up, get another double cast, and ideally we would want to get one more Valkyrie in here if we so can pinch that in. Let's see, we'll go put the red over there to see if we can get ourselves another quick one. Most battles generally run about 1 minute to a minute and a half when running these similar teams. For the most part, and then you just throw in the poke, and then we get the full soul capacity, and I forget the exact number that it comes out to. Also, yours might vary slightly due to VIP bonuses and other stuff, but we end up getting 490 souls there. So that is what you do for one. The concept that you do for 2 Fairs-Raws, if you happen to be able to afford it, is a Fairs-Ra, Valkyrie, and Azurus. If you don't have an Azurus, you can simply just replace that with a Warlock or anything else. And from here, you would want to boost it all the way up to Warlord 4. This doesn't even matter what your stats are, you would just want to do it to Warlord 4, because your Fairs-Ra will have enough damage to kill them out with his ability after 1 Valkyrie, so you don't really need to worry about the misses at all. You're already going to be having way more than enough damage. So similar to the first battle, and basically all of these battles, are simply get Valkyrie up as quickly as you possibly can. A lot of, or not a lot, but actually I don't even know, but some people do prefer running Dragon Soul instead of a Valkyrie in these kind of teams. I've always preferred using a Valkyrie. I've never tested too extensively the difference with the two, but I don't know, I just always prefer doing these teams with a Valkyrie. There are some instances where you would be able to get away with a Dragon Soul, but when trying to pump it up to Warlord 4, you can't really get away with using a Dragon Soul. But from here, same concept, just keep killing them with Fairs-Raws this time though, instead of using the Warlocks. That's why they're both up front instead of before. Ideally, you'd be getting extra turns every single time whenever you get the yellow to purple alignment. Of course, that's never going to happen almost, but it can, if you get very lucky, will happen in like maybe 1 in 10 battles. But other than that, you just keep doing the cycle, keep getting your mana back up, keep just cycling through them, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And then you'll get your max souls automatically, since Fairs-Ra naturally gains souls from his ability, so even if you don't get the Valkyries, that's one nice benefit to Fairs-Ra soul forming teams instead of using Warlock related ones, is since Fairs-Ra directly gains souls from casting his ability, you never need to worry about ever having to do that extra Valkyrie cast. Yeah, because you'd automatically get the max capacity of souls every single time, even if you cast Valkyrie 0 times, though almost every time you'll be casting Valkyrie at least once, because that's the main generator on your team. But as you can see there, we end up getting ourselves 720 souls, and for the final one, and the most souls that you could possibly gain per hour, same thing, except instead of an Azurus, we now have 3 Fairs-Raws. And for fun, I am going to test what 4 Fairs-Raws will give us. Since I actually just bought the 4 Fairs-Ra during this video, I don't have the slightest clue on how many souls that gives. But I have been curious. I bought him for the sole purpose, haha, get it, soul? I bought him for the sole purpose of seeing how many souls we would end up getting for having 4 of them. Of course, I could have calculated it out, but hey, it would be a lot more fun if we just did it manually, which is what we're doing as soon as we finish out this battle. But yeah, let me go and kill him out. Let me actually take a skull. You and your agile. There are some weaker challenges where you could go to try to skull poke them. If there was ever one more additional attack added to the game, something I haven't mentioned yet, it is possible on Warlord 3 difficulty to one-shot this first slot with a single skull. You need 32 attack to be able to do it, which if anything was ever to add one more attack via Kingdom, we would be able to do that. Unfortunately, that isn't currently possible, which is why I just run on Warlord 4. Though I believe in general, I think Warlord 4 is just better overall anyways, since you do get that extra 25% in there. But anyways, let's just get our last Valkyrie. That will fill us all the way into our full mana that we need. Do we not have alignment? Guess we're doing it on purple. That's like the last color you ever want to convert out. But oh well, it's almost the end of the battle, so it doesn't really matter. We don't need the extra turn from it. We just need him to get poked and for him to end his turn. And there we go. Poke him down, and boom. And now, for the final moments, what does 4 Fairs-Raws give us? This costed us like 4,000 diamonds and a bunch of other stuff just to see this. Realistically, you would never run 4 Fairs-Raws. There is absolutely no point whatsoever in running 4 Fairs-Ra. There's no need for it, but hey, why not? Let's see what happens. Realistically, this would be worse than having like 0 Fairs-Raws on your team, mainly because it's going to gain souls so ridiculously slow. But I want to see what will happen. What should we even run with it banner-wise? I guess it's a blue-purple? Is there anything that gives +2 purple, +1 into another color of his? I can't think of one off the top of my head, so you know what? We're just going 2 purple. I'm pretty sure there is one, and I'm just forgetting it, but for the sake of time, let's just go right into it, into a double purple, and see what we can do here. Of course, the board is almost void of purples, but okay, let's see what we can do. It's going to be a particularly slow battle, since for the obvious reason of having 0 mana generators on the team, but hopefully we'll get lucky with some yellow to purple alignments. Would be really nice. Want to try to not take in purples if we can and just get it up by his other 2 manas. As I say that, we get him up by taking a purple, but we do have alignment, surprisingly, so we'll go throw that down. Our first shot actually does not kill because we do not have a Valkyrie that gave us the initial mana. The whole reason for having the Valkyrie there, or Dragon Soul, in the first place is to feed that initial, not only the mana, but also to feed the initial souls that you need. Also, I just looked at that number for the first time. Wow, that is a gigantic number. 280 soul cap. Could you imagine if you could increase the gold by that much and make it like a 1,000 gold cap or something? They really need that. They need a Fairsraw for gold. Gold never gets enough attention. Anyways, let's throw that into his extra turn just so we don't have to deal with that little guy. Then just get both these manas up, and that will be the match, and we'll see how many souls this yields. I forget if you lose souls if one of these dies, so let's hopefully keep them alive. That shouldn't be too hard. Let me go get the other one to full mana, and yeah, that double cast will be the match. Unless he takes a billion skulls and kills one of them. But there we go. Take that poke out, and the final one. How many souls is 4 Pharos-Ra's, all necromancers? And the final verdict is 1,120 souls. There we go, that's screenshot worthy. But there we go, we've done it. We have finally broke 1,000 souls per battle. That is realistically not feasible to ever do, mainly because of course, you need a mana generator. It just goes a little bit too slow without it. But hey, 1,120 souls, that is a pretty solid number to see. But yes, that is Fairs-Ra. Definitely go craft it. Craft it right now. If you have the resources to craft it, go get it, even if you don't have the trade stones for it. Though you will need to fully trade it, but still, get it. Get it while you can, while it's still in there. We've been waiting months for this troop, and it's finally here. There is never going to be a better mythic or anything to use diamonds on than a Fairs-Ra. It's similar to that of the armors that you can get. The sooner that you get things like Dragon Armor, Celestial Armor, or Death Knight Armor, stuff like that, similar to Fairs-Ra, the sooner you can get these kind of things, the better. And the sooner you can get 3 Fairs-Ra's, the better. The more souls you can gain per hour, the less grind that you'll have throughout the entire game. And since more things are starting to require souls because of the Soulforge, it is definitely highly, highly, highly advised to go get yourself one. But anyways, that is everything with Fairs-Ra, how to use them, some basic teams for PvP, and soul farming with it. If you have any additional questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. Go and get yourself a Fairs-Ra. Hope you all enjoy. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye, everyone.